Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Tonight my talk is Brand and Deliver. And tonight I'm hoping to persuade you that by addressing and focusing a holistic approach to branding, we'll all live happily ever after. And I feel I'm qualified to speak about this tonight because I've actually been branding and rebranding businesses and people for the last 30 years. And I'm also a fellow member of the Chartered Institute of Marketing, which is the highest marketing accolade. So, without further ado, so brand and deliver. So since the 1500s, lots of branding has taken place. There's been cattle, crates, and companies. And it started off very simple, so these were being distinguishing against cows, and then in shipping dockyards, crates against crates. And it's got more complex over the years. And now companies' symbols represent one of quality or one of not so much quality. And now, branding is more about etching, rather than being skin deep on cattle, it's more about etching memories and images on a human brain. So you always think of that brand as the first thing you think of. So, what I'm going to do is to share with you some tips on how we can all do business and personal branding, so it includes all of you here. So I'm going to go through the letter, the word brand, and start with B. So that's the branding strategy. And I'm going to make this as not dry as possible, by the way. We're going to have some fun as well. So brand strategy sounds really boring, but it's all about getting from A to B. So you need to think about where you want to be and where your business wants to be, and then you form a plan to get there. And this is where it gets really interesting, because it's not obvious. Earlier this week, I bumped into the chief executive of McLaren Formula One drivers, cars. And you think he was in the car business or the racing business, but it's not. He's in the entertainment business, because his customers don't have to drive cars. They want to drive cars. They're really excited about driving cars. So it's entertainment, and therefore he can charge more for his product. And then you've got people like Harley Davidson, or businesses like Harley Davidson. They're in the leisure industry, and they're big boys' toys, so they're competing with holidays. And then you've got like Swatch watches, and they're actually in the fashion industry, not in the watch industry. So you can really widen your horizons. And like tonight, we're all speakers, but we're actually in the leadership development business, because really good communication is good branding and good leadership. So, and then there's lots of tools you can do for improving your brand and getting you from A to B. So next is R. There's loads of R's to get you into branding. So you've got reputation, you've got reviews, recognition. And they all have a cause and effect on each other. So with reputation, you have to be really nice. I mean, everyone is human, and occasionally we make mistakes. But the nicer you are as a person, and maybe the more charities you support and the good deeds you do, if you do make an error, being good, it's a bit like an insurance. It'll get you through your error. People think, oh yeah, she's a good egg, or he's a good egg. We'll forgive them on this occasion. But if you're continually making errors, that's when it all goes wrong. So then, of course, that has an effect on reviews. So if you're really nice all the time and really good and good customer service, you generally get really good reviews. And then that leads to you being recognised for the good thing. And later on, you'll match up to symbols, and I'll go on to that at the end. So A is for abracadabra. Branding can be magic, but it's more about being authentic, being true to yourself. So every day, what you do every day, if you're doing things you enjoy, generally things go quicker, but normally if you're doing things you enjoy, they're aligning with your unconscious values anyway. But it's best to make your unconscious values conscious and promote them and advertise them. And for instance, my values are being creative. So even when I'm not working, I'm painting, cooking, or I'm creative, I enjoy actually writing creative strategies for people and businesses. But also, I'm curious, and I want to know everything, and therefore I tend to say yes to everything, often too much, and I end up spreading myself a bit thin sometimes. I have to watch myself. But it's that, and inspiration. I love being inspired, that's why I move by the sea, and that inspires me to be more creative, but also I like inspiring people, that's why I do coaching, that's why my jobs work so well. So I like seeing people have aha ideas. So it's all of that, and CPD is another value, it's improvement, self-improvement, and that's why I like branding, I like improving other brands as well. So that's A, so if you've got all your values and you advertise them, then people know what you're like, as a person as well, and then generally you attract people with like-minded values or complementary ones. So then N is really important. N is being number one in people's minds. for the right reason, hopefully. So obviously when I get a letter through my door and I see the BT logo, I almost cry because I'm always on customer services for 2 days waiting for them to pick up. But you don't want to be number one for those sort of reasons. You want to be number one for good reasons. So when I think of food, do I think of pizza or do I think of Domino's? When I fancy a glass of water, do I want water or do I want Perrier? Or when you think of logos in the future, I'd like you to think of Vicky Vaughan or branding. That's the idea. That's what I'd like people to do. So that's number one in people's minds. So it's really important to do it for the right reasons, though. So finally, we've got dazzling design. So once you've done everything I've suggested tonight, you'll have the most amazing brand anywhere. You'll give everyone a really good customer experience and people in your life. And everyone will link you with good things. So when you have your nice brand and your logo, they see your logo and think, oh, they're really nice. So, they remember you for that. And if you think about a really good tune on the radio, whether it's the most beautiful tune, but if it links to a really bad experience in your past, you've always got that memory, it's association. So that's it. That's the thing. But I've got one more thing to say, because it's brand and deliver. So I'm a branding highway queen. So thank you for your attention. My brand's panache, but not too flash. So please give it a mention. So it's brand and deliver. Let's all live happily ever after. Miss Toastmaster.